the lockdown happened, I actually came down to KL with a group of friends for a TEE course. So the course was about 6 days, and by the end of the week, my dad was actually admitted to hospital because of his heart issue. It was an emergency case lah. So then, I think the entire week I was in hospital with him, praying, looking at the rising case of COVID and hearing people getting sick from COVID and all. Then at the end of the week, before the lockdown happened, we actually got discharged. We went home. I really thank God for that. And that's how my MCO actually started. Because initially I was from Penang. I stayed in Penang and most of my things were in Penang. So I started staying in KL with whatever I carried in my backpack for the course and with the little things that I have in my family home. And MCO started that way for me. I think I just used whatever I had at that time and just make the best of everything. Life goes on. Definitely there begins that guilt feeling cause you have a roof over your head, you have food on your table, but then at the end of the day, you know that people out there are feeling sick. They are getting sick or they are trapped in hostel and all. I think I dealt with that a lot during the first COVID. But at the same time, moving back home wasn't easy because I do stay in a house with different generation, different personality. Everybody have different coping mechanism, so we really were on our AG mode lah. And I think it was then we had our frustrated moments. We got on each other's nerve, and I'm glad we had that break before the continuous MCO. So MCO1 really had really down moments, but really even happy moments that we got to spend time together. We got to do things as a family. At the same time, personally for me, I got to learn to do different things online, using Canva, doing some simple video editing, learning to meet my friends online, playing new games, baking with the niece, and stuff like that. So that's how I cope lah. The biggest change, right, is actually the distance to work. It's less than 1 kilometer, and you can actually work in your pajamas. So I think that's the biggest change for me, and everything is on the laptop. Personal life and work life seems to be merging together. There is no more distinction. What do I do within the day? So personally for me, ministry has changed. For one is you don't enter an office anymore. So the physical of entering an office is no longer there. And you really don't feel like you're doing any work. And you're just like receiving pay as usual, monthly. And life goes on. For family, I think one of the biggest change, right? It's actually learning each other's strengths and weaknesses. For my family, like I said before, how we actually had that frustrated moment, the heated arguments together, and also that spending time together as a family. So that learning about each other, getting to know one another again. For health, I think is mostly on emotional. I think I had to deal with my guilty feeling. I have to deal it with God, coming to God and asking God, when is all this going to end? And I am in such a good place, but what about other people? I think one of the struggle that I have with family is actually understanding each other and where we are coming from. Let's say my mom wants something to be done immediately in an afternoon, but in that afternoon itself, specifically, I'm working. But she wants me to complete a task at that time, and that was like the heated outbreak because for her personality is I want to get it done. But then in my perspective and my shoe is I have other things at work, and work now is only at the laptop. So then I think that a whole understanding of how work has changed, that respecting each other's boundary and giving each other space for work. I think for me, family contacting the virus, bringing home the virus, or even being a COVID patient. Secondly is actually students who are trapped in campus. I think that whole worriness comes with also helplessness. There's nothing much I could, there's nothing I could do. It's so out of my control. I couldn't protect my loved one. I couldn't even see the students who are in campus or be of an help. As much as what I could do is provide money and, a listening ear, but I felt that little thing that I've provided is just so minimal that there is no impact at all. 3 things I've done. Going back to scripture is one, finding the truth again and again that God is in control. Secondly is definitely keeping in contact with my friends online, on phone calls, on video calls. Thirdly is actually going for walks with my nephew and niece and my dad. So for me, having boundaries. I think I've learned to see that there are things in my life that I need boundaries to. I need my own alone time, I need my own space, and that I have made known to people, especially in this current situation. Secondly is actually meeting people, and I considered a lot of layers before I actually make the decision to meet another person. So where the person have been, or have you done your self-test kit and stuff like that before meeting up. I think for me, it definitely has grown more in depth. I've learned to ask God for help. I think for many of us, when we hear that, it's such a simple thing. But because of my personality, I'm such a problem solver. For any situation that has problem arising, my first reaction is, let me solve it for you. Let me get this done for you. But nowadays, I learn to take a step back. And if I really cannot, and to my capacity, I've used all my resources to want to solve the issue, and I couldn't. That's when I turn to God and say, God, help. I don't know what else to do. So learning to ask God for help. And I think that actually signifies how my faith has grown in that. Thank you.